All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beers by the Ivy with my buddy Jake. Jake, what's going on?
Guys, like, share, subscribe. This is one of the best football podcasts out there. Finished up that was a great weekend of football. I mean, besides that, thank God they put that absolute shit show of fucking display by the referees on first, so I didn't have to suffer through that on the last game of the weekend. But today, Sunday games,
I
primo.
know, I
So much
know.
drama at the end of both games. That's what you watch football for.
Dude, let's start with the Ravens Bills. The game literally just ended a couple minutes ago, and Jake and I are on. Holy cow. Bills win 27-25 with a 2-point conversion going down to the wire, and the Ravens not converting.
Abs
Wow.
insanity. Oh, so as soon as that play at the end happened where Mark Andrews drops that, he was butt naked open for that
Yeah, he
conversion,
was.
somehow dropped that. I pop on Facebook and I see all these Bengals fans with their fucking pointy teeth and their gallon of Mountain Dew they're drinking out of. Lamar Jackson's not in Joe Burrow's realm. Well, Joe Burrow's sitting at fucking Cancun right now, so you're damn right. They're different tiers.
I've
Um, what a that's a tough way to lose the game.
Yeah, a
That,
great
that
play
could have
call.
been Electric City if it goes into overtime
I
there.
wanted to go to I wanted it to go to overtime, and I'm just kind of sitting back enjoying these games because tomorrow I got Ohio State, like, my team of all teams, really, them, the Cubs and the Penguins, so I'm just enjoying these games, but I wanted that to go to overtime. So I was kind
Mhm.
of bummed when he dropped it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was super tough. Mark Andrews had a big game too. Like leading up to that, he made some
Oh
really
yeah.
tough catches, really good plays in the open field. So
Yeah, let's look at the stat line real quick. Let's start with the Ravens. Yeah, had 5 catches, 61 yards, and they were big time plays. They weren't just like filler
yeah,
yards. Yeah, so Lamar Jackson, 18 for 25, 254, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I believe he also had a fumble.
yeah. The fun it was a weird play too because he
Just
had the
dropped
ball in
it.
both hands and he just dropped it.
Fell out
Trying
of his hands.
the field conditions were really getting to him there at that point in the game too. So it was coming down a lot harder then.
Yeah,
But
you know what? You know what? I thought the Ravens might come back and win just because they've been so powerful in the fourth quarter with their run game.
yeah,
So, I know, like the people at halftime were talking. I was just like, what are you guys talking about? Like the Ravens are going to come back and make this close.
yeah. They had that one drive where Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry went for like 50 on one of the drives, like
Yeah,
total, and like every single play he got the ball. It was like 5 yards minimum.
every
And
time.
when you see Derrick Henry pounding through defenses like that, it gets it's pretty hard to watch.
But he only carried the ball 16 times. That sounds pretty
Yeah,
low for Derrick Henry. I feel like he's more of like a 22 carry guy.
yeah. I think especially in a game where the conditions are like that, and even then, you would think that if he only has 16 carries, 84 yards, you would think Lamar has more rush attempts, but he only had six. So 6 rush attempts, and I don't even really remember a whole lot of designed run plays. Like a lot of them were just like scrambling, get out of the pocket and go type.
Yeah, 100%. And then let's flip to Josh Allen real quick. Once
Mhm.
again, guys, we're just trying to review stats. We'll get into it more. 16 for 22, 127 passing yards, and then he had 10 carries for 20 yards, 2 touchdowns on the run game.
Yeah, not like an eye-popping stat line or
Yeah, it's
anything,
not.
but a lot of the carries that he got were like, I'm putting the team on my back and getting these 2 yards, 3 yards that we need.
I'm watching that game, and I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, it just might be the Bills' year. Like it's
It
just
might be.
things are just kind of clicking for them. Like Josh is just making plays. Their defense is making stops when they need to, getting fumbles. Like I'm just like, man, maybe like that game just ended, but now I'm pivoting to Bills versus Chiefs, and I'm just like, maybe it is the Bills' year.
I
Like,
think one of the things I like more about the Bills this year than I have in the past is their run game outside of Josh Allen. So
yeah,
James Cook has had an absolute breakout season. I mean, even today, 17 carries, 67 yards, but then even who's the other two they have? Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. Like those two had to have gone for like 60 probably
dude,
around.
I'll tell you, like Ray Davis on my fantasy team, so I watched him all year. Like I picked him up. That dude can make like big time plays at any moment. He can take it to the house. He's a great little like extra back you got in your backfield.
Yeah, they had some juice. I mean, what they probably combined for like 60 at least.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. They
Oh,
actually
did I
did.
really?
Yeah, they did. They legit combined 460. Dude, check this out. They combined for 60 and they only carried the ball 9 times total
It's a
together.
pretty good ratio. That's a pretty good ratio.
We're talking Ty Johnson, Ray Davis combined, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
Those
Cook
are the
can't.
only two running backs that they had other than James Cook run. I didn't think I saw anybody
No,
else.
that was it. That was it. Just three backs and Ray Davis with the touchdown. Josh Allen, two rushing touchdowns. You know, one thing too is like, I think when the Bills kept losing to the Chiefs, I said Sean McDermott shouldn't be fired, and I was kind of like, you gotta find a coach to get over the hump.
Hmm.
And but then I watching today, I was thinking, man, like that Bills organization's a strong organization, sticking with their team, like their culture is building. The guys have gotten older, like
Yeah.
what's his name, Dawson Knox. Like he looks like a full adult now. He used to just be a kid out of
Hmm.
college, even because they came in together, and that team is like fully grown and like grown in together too.
Yeah, for sure. They kept that culture and kept everybody together. I think that's kind of what helps like build winning locker rooms. We're gonna see if this is the year they get past Kansas City, but with the way these referees have been, I
Dude,
don't know.
I made a short yesterday about like how the Kansas City have now gone from like the flashy team on talent, now they're situationally genius with their
Mhm.
defensive play calls, and just Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have kind of changed their mindset, and like how even their GM, like who they're getting on their team, right? It's not the flashiest guys. But so many people commented back like the Chiefs get all the calls, and honestly, the Chiefs do get all the calls.
Yeah. I mean, how many between the games today, two games today, how many times did you see somebody get hit when they were about to go out of bounds or like in the act of going out of bounds? And I think it happened to Lamar twice in this last game, and the referees never threw a flag. Like on one of the plays, uh, man, I can't remember which. It might have been Matt Milano actually. Like was getting Lamar like he pretty much got to him as he was already going out of bounds. Like he went to the ground with him. He didn't do anything malicious, but like
Hmm.
I was watching that and I'm thinking to myself like, if this happens to Mahomes, that flag is going to be out there so quick,
I
so
think
freaking quick.
that flag against Mahomes, where he essentially did an NBA flop on the sideline, that's one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
That was horrendous. And I think that Mahomes is a great quarterback, so
Yeah,
don't
I
take
do
your
too.
legacy by flopping like that. I want somebody to just stick him one of these times. And like I'm talking Aziz Al-Shaair and Trevor Lawrence style, like you want to play these stupid games here, take this.
One of your famous quotes was "stupid games, stupid prizes" or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. You want to fake sliding and go up for an extra 5 yards and well, congratulations. Here's how they played in the early 2000s.
Yeah, like the NFL being rigged narrative. I've been in and out of that belief system in the past, but it does always feel like the Chiefs have some type of BS to them.
Yeah.
Like, and like that Eagles Super Bowl, I thought was completely a nonsense. Like the Chiefs should not have won that. That pass interference call at the end of that game is still, it's
Oh
still
yeah.
in my mind of how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
and then why are we putting so much paint on fields that literally like NFL players cannot get a grip when there's so much paint on the turf like that? That's not a one-sided thing. That's like both. I'm saying for like player safety in general, but
Mm-hmm.
just the thought of it. Things I complain about in 2025.
I know it is true though. Like turf fields a little dangerous, and grass with paint on it dangerous.
Yeah. Maybe we don't need to sponsor the whole entire field with,
Yeah, with
next
paint.
thing you know, we're playing like the MLB, having freaking logos on jerseys and shit. We'll
I
have
hate that.
logos on the field. The 50-yard line is brought to you by Burger King. Have fun, like, have it your way.
Yeah, they're all doing that. Like the hockey's team put like logos on their helmets on each side. Baseball's got logos on their jersey.
The helmets, I don't mind. Baseball, when they did that shit, it looks like a bunch of slow pitch softball teams out there.
Yeah, Cubs actually released a new jersey. It's like baby blue. You gotta check it out and then message
That's
me
pretty
if you
sick.
like it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I wish they would have done the old school logo on the front. They like invented this new logo, but nonetheless. All right, man. Let's talk. Let's talk. We'll get back to Chiefs Bills, but talk Ram Eagles. Dude,
God, what a game.
My Rams almost pulled it out. Guys, I'm a Colts fan, but like I chose the Rams to make the Super Bowl before the season started, so I've been rooting for the Rams.
That was such a good game.
Oh,
And then the snow was just the added drama. I'd read a stat before the game. It was like Matt Stafford's 2-10 lifetime playing in the snow. Or it was either during the snow or below freezing temperatures.
mm-hmm.
Um, he started really fast.
Yeah,
And
he
I,
did.
I think that stat line may have like, maybe that kind of like loomed in his head a little bit, like because how you play in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
That first drive, I thought the game started at 3:30. I look at my phone, it's like Jalen Hurts leads them on a whatever run scoring play that he had. I flipped the game on, and it's just like the Rams scoring right off the rip. I was like, all right, this is sick. Uh, yeah, that was a good freaking game. Saquon just showing why he was the best free agent signing in the history of free agent signings.
205, two touchdowns, and like big time yards at big time moments.
The hardest part for me with Saquon is like I want to bet on him on FanDuel so bad, but his odds are ridiculous. Like for him to get 100 yards, it's literally like minus 330. So like you have to bet $330 to make 100 for him to go for 100 yards,
I think,
which is insane. Like I would never take that bet just because there's so many things that could factor into it. But that's just how ridiculous he is this season.
yeah, it's amazing that like one guy goes from one team to the other, and then like his full potential is completely unlocked.
Yeah, I mean, thank God the Giants saved all that money to re-sign Daniel Jones for him to be in
Thing,
Cancun with Minnesota, and God, what a disaster franchise.
yeah, they're funny. They're one of the better franchises from Super Bowl record, but
Yeah,
they've been terrible in the last 10, 15 years. Yeah, Matthew Stafford threw for 324. I'm looking at
yeah,
that
he had a
now,
really
two
good game,
touchdowns. That's a good
really,
game, dude. He had the, I know
really good
they
game.
lost, but guys, like he had that throw towards the end that was like on the sideline. His feet weren't even planted. Whoever was calling that game was Collinsworth, called
Yeah.
it out, but that was his arm ability is just second to none.
Who was it to? Puka at the end?
Yeah, yeah, on the outside. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, that play was crazy. That ball just like hung up there too, and it was kind of like disappearing in the snow. Oh, what, dude? That's I love snow football.
I know, me too.
One of my favorites.
I heard Warner was saying that he doesn't like when weather's a factor because he wants each team to like be at their best, and he
Hmm.
felt like in Arizona, like it was a disadvantage because like you couldn't even prepare for the cold if you were in Arizona. Like you couldn't even go practice outside. You could just practice what Arizona is, hot
Yeah.
and indoors. But I love the football. I love snow football. I love the climate. It makes it. It just makes the extra it's the extra inches. It's the extra focus that it takes to play in the cold. Like theoretically, like I bet Andrews catches that ball if it's in a dome.
He might. Honestly, I think if any of those two games that happened today are in a dome, it's a completely different. We might not even be talking about the same results right now.
You know what I said last episode where the if Rams beat the Eagles, like they're going to the Super Bowl
Yeah.
because they're gonna play in a dome either way. Either I'm pretty sure are they above the Commanders or the Commanders have a home game?
No, they'd be playing it at home. Well,
Yeah,
they'd be
so
playing it at Arizona.
yeah, they'd be playing at Arizona, and then they would play. Yeah, exactly. Or they'd be playing at the Lions, and I liked both. I liked Rams on both of those.
Hmm. Well,
Not
RIP
anymore.
to that one.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I don't bet. That's
It
why I
was it was
never.
a fun season though. I mean, when I look back at it, the Rams at one point, I was like, I mean, this team's probably not even going to be sniffing a wild card at the end of the season just based on the injuries and what they had going on. Uh, but they survived the games that they needed to survive in. They got some big help by the Niners.
Hmm.
Absolute like
Failure.
underperforming like crazy this year. But yeah, they made the best of it. That's not something I wouldn't be mad about if I was a Rams fan. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. All right, let's get to the other two, then we'll talk about like the next round. Texans, Chiefs. Once again, I think fundamentally the Chiefs are in a new era of situational football, and yes, they did get a bunch of calls, but they still won the game and they still look damn good.
Did you see that one stat where like the Texans are the first team to not commit any turnovers, outperform yardage wise by like 100 yards, have more time of possession, more passing yards, more rushing yards, and lose? They're like the first team to lose that in playoff history. Like teams were like 34 and 0 up until that point.
Well, you would only lose to the Chiefs, who are like, continually winning Super Bowls and continually having the refs on their side. It takes both. It takes a great team to do that and the
Yeah.
refs on your side.
Yeah. I mean, that was 30 yards of, and I'm talking like these were like drive altering penalties. And then the one that the incidental contact to the helmet, where it was like the two Texans players like above each other. Mahomes didn't even get hit when that happened. Like, if anything, it was Will Anderson he took the brunt of it. But I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah, we all knew the Chiefs were going to win that game, or at least I did. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
just
mean, it's a win-win for me. I get to see the Texans lose, or I get to see the Chiefs lose.
I
And
yeah, I know you already said this, but I thought the Texans were actually almost boat raced in that game, and they played as good as they could play with the people that they had.
yeah, I
Like that
mean, think
wasn't
about the starting receiving core that they had to start the season. And what they had Xavier Hutchinson running out there as the wide receiver too.
yeah.
Like that's a tough look because I'd never even heard of that dude until the season. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, that coaching staff for the Texans, that those are keepers.
yep, D'Amico Ryans. I mean, you saw how fast they turned around that franchise from where they were.
It's just like why can't the Colts just get that? Like within 6 games of that coaching staff, I was like, yeah, they got it.
Hmm.
You
It
know,
is what it is.
it is what it is.
Nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs win. Mahomes had an incredible play. That throw to Kelsey, that touchdown pass to Kelsey, that was incredible. There might be two people in the league who can make that throw, and the only reason I'm even saying two is because I saw Joe Burrow do it earlier this season.
Yeah, one of my first videos, Beers by the Ivy, during the football season was breaking down Patrick Mahomes tape, and it's like unbelievable to see like from the other angle, like what he does in the pocket. He essentially looks at the line of scrimmage and downfield at the same time.
Yeah, peripheral vision, man.
I mean, he's
Gotta
just
break it down.
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, he finds space and he can throw the ball. He can sling it like within seconds. And he's also a football genius.
Yeah,
So, all right, Commanders, Lions. That game was absolutely shocking.
that game was absolutely broken for me. I mean, I was in a little group text with my buddies, and I said, guys, over 60 and a half is like the lot because I think the line was like 51 and a half or something like that. I was like, guys, the over.
Uh-huh.
But take it up higher because the Lions are going to beat the shit out of the Commanders. Like it's not even going to be funny. They're coming off a week of rest. They played the game of the year against the Vikings. Like that defense is locked in. Jaden Daniels is special, man. He's so special and he's so calm too. Like seeing
Oh,
him that calm, like no big deal. Every single game, from last week against the Bucks to this week, like from that game on out, every single game is the biggest game he's played in his career. He's just so calm. You couldn't even tell that he was, possibly taking the Commanders to the NFC Championship for the first time since what, 91? I think it was the last one they were in.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, dude, that he's going to be so fun to watch, as he gets older. Only thing that scares me is his height. He's a little bit undersized. I'm not really a fan of undersized quarterbacks like that. I kind of like them like bigger and healthier. I feel like that'll, add
Yeah.
more value. But dude, the way he plays, he throws such a pretty ball to like so he had that one to oh man, what's his name?
Let me look it up.
De'Ami Brown. No, I got it. Uh
That's
the
good find.
it was the De'Ami Brown, the one where he had his helmet was like completely covered by the Lions defender's hand
Yeah.
and it, right in the breadbasket, like the only place where it could have just been like perfectly landed. Uh Absolute dot. And that was like a 40-yard pass too. That wasn't just like a little 10-yard out route or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I
Look,
honestly, I think that NFC Championship game is going to be pretty crazy to watch.
yeah, it's gonna be incredible. I mean, Washington's playing with house money. Like they're not even supposed to be here. Like they're ahead of schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at the stat line. Jane Daniels, 22 for 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, passing, and then 16 carries, 51 yards.
Yikes.
Dude, he's got a lot to him, man. He's
Yeah.
got the Lamar Jackson running ability, and then he's got like the eyes behind his head that like Patrick Mahomes has.
Yeah, they really built that team really well too, and that's a very accelerated rebuild. But they put a lot of like really good pieces. Austin Eckler's actually
I
having a healthy season, and he's
I
not
love him.
even. You said Austin Eckler?
Yeah, I love him. Like he's just great out of the
Yeah.
backfield. He's one of the
I
best
don't.
backs
He
out of the
was
backfield in the
he
passing
was
game.
never supposed to be like your first string running back, but like he's a very good like two punch. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, dude, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, the way he can catch it. Well, what he had 47 plus 41. He had 88 yards
Dude, like
total in the game.
who's the hardest person to account for on a football team in the pass game? The running back. So
Hmm.
like having that in the playoffs, it's like James White back in the day for the Patriots. Remember like that one
Yeah.
year he had? He got so many catches because when you need a third down and 4, throw it to the running back. Boom, now you get 10. It's sick.
little wheel route or something,
Yeah.
something easy.
So wait, did you do the bet with over 60 or what was the?
Oh yeah, I mean I had over 60 and I think the odds on that were like plus 185 or something like that. So in theory, bet 100, win 185. But I had a crazy parlay for that game that I missed by like one leg.
Geez, yeah,
And
because like I mean Washington scored 45 and Detroit scored 31.
mhm.
So is that 76 points if my math's right?
Yeah, 76, which is nuts for a
That's
playoff game.
Yeah, that's nuts. The crazy thing is Detroit still scored 31 points, and I believe their average from the season was about like 33 or something like that, 35, somewhere in there. So their offense theoretically played as good as they normally play. It's just their defense was absolutely brutal, probably just because of injuries, but also I don't think they were expecting how lethal the Washington pass game combined with the run game is. I just don't think,
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly didn't see it. I thought Detroit was going to win that game.
Well, it was tough for Detroit in that one because they got behind early, and that, in my opinion, based on how many injuries they took, that wasn't a team that was going to be very well equipped to play like to like catch up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
When you can control the ball and you got Dave Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs and those, I mean, Montgomery had, I would say, a tough game back because that was his first game coming back, obviously, some breaking his arm.
yeah.
But I mean, Jameer Gibbs went crazy, so it's kind of tough.
Just
Um,
too many turnovers. Like
yeah, too
that's
many turnovers.
like if you really look at it and you just look at the turnover battles, like Detroit had what 3 picks from right? Yeah, Jared Goff had 3 interceptions.
Hmm.
The Ravens had like more turnovers, I believe, than the Bills.
Yeah,
Uh, Chiefs had the the flags, right? And then I'm pretty sure the Philadelphia Eagles also won the turnover battle.
yeah, but that was, man, that's one of those tough games where it's snowing like that. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I know. The Rams were running the ball, and I was just like, dude, throw the ball. Just throw the ball. Like, it doesn't matter. He can throw the ball through the snow. Ain't gonna change it.
Yeah, Kyron Williams is good, but they were just keying on it, hitting that gap. Like they were throwing their middle linebacker up the gap, whatever his name is, who had that crazy season.
Yeah, Braun or something like
Uh,
that. I don't know.
yeah, Zach Bond, that's the one.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
sick. And then they got Carter too, playing defensive tackle. Remember when they
yeah,
drafted him? He had like that thing in college or whatever, so he like fell.
yeah, he
He
came
ended,
in overweight, and then
yeah,
he didn't do a combine, or he didn't do a pro day. That's what it was,
yeah. It was like
something
some
like
legal.
that.
There's some legal thing too or something. And uh, and now he's like one of the best defensive tackles in the game. And they picked him like I think in like the late
11.
teens. Or was it 11? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was one of the picks that they got from us for Carson Wentz.
Okay, okay. You gotta love that. You gotta love when you're feeding teams to be successful.
Yeah, I may be wrong about that because
I'm
I
gonna look
know
it
that that
up.
was like one of those weird. It was like a conditional pick or some shit like that. I don't remember.
All right, dude. Let's get into who you got. Bills versus the Chiefs.
Oh man, I mean, I really want a close competitive game more than anything.
Yeah, me too. I think that's
Uh,
automatic. I mean, I think it'll be the exact same feel of what we just saw Ravens versus Bills. I think
yeah, my
all
thing
three of these
is
teams are like on that
if you
level.
if you play a close competitive game against the Chiefs, you have like you're gonna lose it. You have to outright win. Like you have
Mm.
to blow them out to beat them. Um,
It's because they're situationally genius. It's like Kelsey is like hibernating, and then he just shows up for the playoffs, and then he gets the biggest first down. It's like he just slips through.
yeah, he had a really good game when they needed him the most.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
that's what that team
man,
is. It's ridiculous.
I'm just gonna take the fucking Chiefs and hope I'm wrong.
I wonder what is the lines out yet? Do you have that on your computer?
Yeah, they dropped situational lines earlier. I can check my phone. Hold on. They dropped situational lines for all their games. So you could bet on uh like you could bet on a matchup that wasn't even like set in stone yet.
I just couldn't fathom, honestly, like Josh Allen losing this game.
Honestly, it's a pretty close spread. So it's Chiefs minus 120 and Bills are plus 102 money line. And then it's literally a 1.5 point spread.
It's just
So
like, how many times can you lose to the Chiefs if you're Josh Allen? Like, I just think this has to be the year.
one more apparently. Shit.
Well, I'm just saying, like, okay, early on, like, like honestly, the Chiefs are probably just a better football team, like back in the day, right? With like they
Hmm.
had a lot of good guys, right, on that roster. And Patrick Mahomes was like the young cat.
Hmm.
Now I feel like Josh Allen's team has grown to that level, and I don't see them losing. Like I just because of the past. And I know when you flip a coin, it's 50 every time, like 50-50 every time. Even if you flip it 1,000 times, it's still 50-50, like that logical
Yep.
trick. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what happened in the past, but at the same time, I feel like there's got to be something.
Yeah. I mean, that's Vegas's mindset pretty much is it's a 50-50 game. They're just going to give it to the home team. Just give that slight home field advantage edge. Uh, Honestly, here's a stat that I want to see come into fruition. Josh out. Well, now I got to look this up again because he's like 10-2 in games that are below freezing. But how many of the losses were against the Chiefs in Kansas City, in the playoffs in the below freezing temperature?
All of them.
Yeah, I'm at least one of them. That one where it was the crazy like 21 points in the last 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, he's lost all of them in Kansas City.
I mean, those two are probably the only. Yep. Fuck it, I'll go to the Chiefs. Hope I'm wrong.
I can't go to the Chiefs. I just can't. Like I feel like this is the year that there's just a three-peat is just almost impossible. They're not like I mean I don't know. I'm gonna actually do film breakdowns on this because college football's over, so I'll look at it. But I just would be shocked if the Bills can't win one game in 5 years against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
We're gonna find out. I'm gonna avidly root for the Bills. I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm gonna avidly root for the Bills. I'm probably gonna bet on the Bills. Whatever. Don't listen to me. I'm all gloom and doom with this franchise. I just need to see them lose.
We're bringing up bringing down the spirits, are we?
Yeah, I'm just sick of it. It's tough when all literally the other three games were so good, and then there's that one where it's like that big dark mark hangs over it, and
Yeah.
that's all you can think about is, oh, this is fixed, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
yeah.
Taylor Swift, man.
It's just it's just NFL rigged. Do you know what gematria is?
No.
Okay, it's a language of like numbers and letters. And there's a whole like cult following that the NFL is like rigged and like here's how you predict the games and it's like this huge thing. But yeah, I don't really know much about it, but anytime I see NFL rig videos, there's usually some type of inclusion of that. Like these are pre-chosen things and like the refs are the people that help the game get to a certain point. And I will
Interesting.
say, yeah, I will say that when I watch college football games, I don't ever really feel like they're rigged. But if I watch NFL games, I sometimes, like in the playoffs specifically, I sometimes do.
Yeah, anything can happen in college though. There's so
Yeah.
many upsets on a week to week basis, and like college is like one of the only places where I think you can comfortably bet like a plus 500 like underdog to win just outright, which is insane. Hardly ever happens in the NFL. Um,
Yeah. To me, it's like a different game. Like college
it
is,
is.
it's, I should say this. NFL, like these guys are so good at football that it just looks cleaner because everyone's technique is damn near perfect.
Yeah, it
You
has
know,
to be at that level.
yeah, so it's a cleaner looking game versus college. Things are just like more wide open. You know how like in the NBA the courts are open, but in college basketball the courts are like you're like right next to the person. It's
Yeah.
like the opposite in football. Like the pros you're like right next to the person. In college you have like space.
Yeah. I mean, and on top of that, there's so many teams, so many places they can go. I mean, you look at like DJ Ukulele, perfect example. Goes to Clemson, garbage.
Yeah.
Goes to Florida State, garbage. Probably going to hit the transfer portal again to play somewhere else. But I mean, there's opportunities for that level of play to,
To
pretty much all
exist.
over the league in college. So more opportunities to shine. We could talk about him for hours. That dude pisses me off.
Why? What do you mean? You're not a
Fucking
Clemson fan.
Florida State, man. I've lost a lot of money on that team.
Oh, okay, okay.
Always Florida State. Trash ass DJ Ukulele.
Dude, they had the worst season. How are you betting on them?
You just think they're gonna snap out of it.
You just okay. Yeah,
You just
it's
think
like
they're gonna snap, and they never do.
It's like betting on the Atlanta Falcons. You're like, oh, they have such a good team. Like they have so much
Did that a lot
skill.
too.
They have so much. Their defensive core is so good.
I
And
mean,
no,
no, but they have a lot of good pieces. They got a lot of pieces I like. They have
they
two
do.
really good running backs. They got a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield and run it very well.
Yeah,
I mean, Kyle Pitts. You ever seen that meme of was it Moneyball, where it's like this is so and so. So it's like this is Kyle Pitts. He's one of the most like athletic tight ends ever drafted in the history of the NFL. The only problem is he can't catch the fucking football. So like it's kind of like that. Um,
yeah, dude. He
on
was.
paper, they're a very good team.
Well, that's why people keep losing money betting them.
Suckers like me, man.
You know,
And then
if
you
you
bet
literally,
against them and they go out and dominate. Some that happened like twice. I was like,
yeah,
what?
stay away, dude. I
Yeah.
always watch. I know. I just know that from Colin Cowherd betting on them and complaining every week that he bet on the Falcons.
Falcons and the Jets. Those are my two worst enemies this year.
Jeez. All right, who you got? All right, it's like Eagles Commanders. This is a game of I have. This is unknown to me. Like I would probably choose the Eagles just because their guys have been around the block more.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule right now just to see if they won. So they lost last time they played in Philly. Oh, but they played that crazy 36 to 33 game against Philly at Washington. Oh man, so split it, divisional familiarization. Oh man. This is going to be one of those games you have to look at injuries. Jalen Hurts got pretty banged up
Yeah, but
there.
he
Like,
played though. Yeah, he was hobbling pretty good.
I think that he only played because it's like, what are you going to do? Throwing Kenny Pickett? Like, no. I'd rather go out there with a torn ACL and play through that than have Kenny Pickett, who wasn't even good enough to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh, come out there and, nah, that was I think that was just gutting it out. He did not look good. Who was it? Jared Verse got through on like two different plays that I could think of
Yeah,
and just drilled him in the
drilled
backfield.
him. Yep.
So, oh man, I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm gonna have to go Eagles, and I'm literally only gonna say Eagles because of Saquon Barkley. Like that's the only reason I'm even taking them because yeah, AJ Brown reading books on the sideline. He seems disconnected from the game right now just because he has a diminished role in that offense. But Saquon has had, an MVP caliber season, so I gotta go Philly.
I mean, the question is, can a rookie quarterback win? What is this going to be his third playoff game in a row?
Yeah,
Like that's really it. I mean, it's
that's what it
not
comes
that.
down to. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be great and win a bunch of playoff games. It's just can he do it in his rookie year? You know, we always have like a rookie come in. Not always, but a lot of times you have like CJ Stroud come in, win a playoff game. RG3 came in, won a playoff game. So there's definitely some rookies that come in and do have some initial playoff success. But just doing it like to the next level, making the Super Bowl is almost shocking.
Yeah, my thing for me is they humbled the shit out of Detroit, uh, given a lot of injuries on defense. So I'm not gonna, you know, Detroit had a good season. I'm not gonna like take
Yeah,
that
they
away
did.
from
They
them or
did.
anything. They're one of my favorite teams to watch and root for. Um, they hung 45 on them at home. They gave up 31 though against what I thought was one of the top offenses in the league. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I get the defensive edge here to Philly. I think Washington's defense is good and they really turned it on. They've got a really good like leadership core. Like Bobby Wagner, that was one of the most underrated free agency signings of the offseason, I think. Just getting his veteran presence in there and helping, all the younger guys get out there, but then like he's like the central communicator for the whole entire defense, running everything from play to play if you watch him. He's getting everybody set up and in position where they need to be, calling out all the alerts, everything that a linebacker should be doing like on every play. So I I'll give it to Philly on this, even though I just said every reason why I like Washington so much.
Yeah, I mean, Washington is playing with that like energy vibe of like not having fear. I don't think that's a huge part of the playoffs, right? I'm putting the perception that like there's no way you can win. Like, how can you beat the system? But they're playing with like this new juice, right? New ownership. Like, they're just like happy to be on the field.
Yep, exactly. They're happy to be there, and they're playing with house money.
Exactly. Like,
I said this with a bunch of my buddies talking about the Detroit and Washington game. I was like, guys, I mean, here's the thing about this game is Washington is, you have a team with nothing to lose versus a team with everything to gain in Detroit, obviously making it back in redemption. And,
Hmm.
you got to be careful about playing against a team with nothing to lose. With that being said, Detroit by 21. So that didn't fucking happen. Um,
It did not. It
I'm
didn't.
not gonna get burned by Washington again like that, but I do think that Philly will win. It's gonna be a close game. It's not gonna be a blowout or anything. Jaden Daniels showed a lot throughout the season, and the against Tampa that was kind of a test, but against Detroit I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, that's a real test. I mean, here's another thing too is I mean, I kind of thought this was maybe Detroit's year because Ben Johnson's gonna go take a new job and what they've
Mhm.
had the last 3 years will not be there next year. Yeah, they get their players back, but I'm just talking like Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator. One thing though that I talked to you about this was I just don't know if the aggressive style can win a Super Bowl. Like, because I mean, in terms of aggressive style, Detroit almost plays at a 10 with some of their play calling. And I just don't know if like that can win a Super Bowl because I'm looking like I think the Chiefs have the best play calls in football. And it's like timing, rhythm, intelligence. And I sometimes think the Lions do like the opposite. They're like their running and gun team. And you saw that with like that receiver throw.
That was dumb.
You know,
Why?
it's just like when you're moving the ball down the field, move the ball down the field like you were moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, why? But they were down 12 at that point when they had that end around and had
Yeah,
James
just
Williams throw it. And,
yeah.
and there was still like a whole entire quarter left when they called that play. So why are we putting the season in the hands of a wide receiver at this point to throw the ball? You just ran a trick play earlier to him that went for 65. Like, what are we doing?
It's just I feel like it's just like an ego thing of like this is what we do, but it doesn't make sense. Like I just don't think like that's the problem. I just feel like the Lions will, if they continually do those play calls, they will always get in their own way.
Yeah, that's definitely a potential outcome. If I'm not wrong, wasn't Ben Johnson like up for head coaching spots at the end of last season and
Yeah,
he
and
like he declined?
he stayed because he like wanted to essentially win a Super Bowl with the guys.
Maybe they do it again. I don't know. I mean, some based off what I've been reading, none of the like the openings that he's been like interviewing for. I mean, do you want to go be a head coach? Yeah, but like, do you want to be a head coach for the Jags? Like a team that literally gets 3 games abroad every year because they can't make money in their own stadium? Like that doesn't really seem like an appetizing, job offer for me when I can, consistently win games and potentially be a 1 seed somewhere. And you got to imagine he's probably already set up pretty well there. So
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll
plus
see what happens.
and you probably give him a little pay increase, right?
Yeah.
I mean some people aren't made to be head coaches because head coaches you're mainly like manager, like you're the guy who's coaching the coaches. You're not like the coach, right? You are, but you aren't.
Yeah. Unless you
especially
go
your
to
first
Dallas.
especially your first year. Like Andy Reid's got it so set up with like Spags running the entire defense that he can kind of just do what he does. But first time coach, you become a manager of coaches. Who's the Washington coordinator? He was
Cliff
with the
Kingsbury.
Yeah, like he's a perfect example of a guy who probably doesn't have the personality to be a head coach, but damn, he's a great coordinator.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he couldn't really put it together in Arizona from like the head coaching standpoint, but when you tell him all he's got to do is worry about the offense, that offense is humming like we haven't seen them hum before.
Yeah,
So,
so the question is like, what is Ben Johnson like? Like, is him taking like the Bears haven't announced a coach, right? They've just interviewed about 1,000 people.
yeah, they've interviewed like I think up to 20 like
Dude,
22 candidates now.
yeah, the Bears interviewed Eddie George, who was a Heisman Trophy winner at Ohio State. He also played like Tennessee, like good, really, really good football player, running back. But he's coaching like some smaller college, and the Bears interviewed him. So
I didn't
they're
know
Yeah, they're I mean, they were in I saw Big Cat from like Barstool say like if you've ever touched a football, the Bears are interviewing.
that. Did you have you been seeing all the rumors about Dion and potentially being the Cowboys head
Dude,
coach?
there's just no way. Like I just don't I just don't see it, dude. Like the ego-ness of both of those guys, Jones and Dion,
It would be fireworks.
I like who would win the tug of war?
You gotta imagine Jerry Jones would win the tug of war. He's running the
Eh,
damn team.
Yeah, but the fans would love Dion,
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine that they would.
you know. But he's got a, you know what it is? He's got a good system over there in Colorado because it is him. Like that whole program is him. He's got to build it. Like the administration lets the program be him. So he's not gonna get that anywhere else.
Yeah, bro. He gets to promote his brand too. Like Blenders, the sunglasses company, they have like their own like line solely based on his like, his Colorado colors. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but without his boys there, we'll see. He might
Yeah,
have
is the
one.
motivation there? This is what it comes down to for me is do you want to keep on coaching without your sons being at the school?
Yeah, I think he's about it. I think Joel Klatt likes him, so
Yeah,
I
boss.
got yeah, I gotta be like, well, Joel played there. He's like the best in college football in terms of announcing, in my opinion. So he knows. But yeah, dude, you got any other sports stuff for us? Got any thing that's pissing you off or anything like that?
Yeah, the fucking Dodgers.
Oh, there we
Just
go. Here
those
we
dudes are
go.
printing money. Their fucking city is on fire, and they're still finding money to throw at all these pitchers and international. I don't get it, dude. I don't understand. This alone is going to make baseball have a salary cap, and I'm not complaining. The Yankees had a really good offseason. They on paper they did have a really good offseason. Do you lose Juan Soto? Yeah, but you're not shelling out all that money for one player, and you take it and you space it out equally, and you improve. I would say partial improvements at each position that you need to improve at for the most part, and you get a little bit deeper. They spent their money adequately, and I know that talent acquisition is like the name of the game, but I mean, give it 2 or 3 years, and you're going to see everybody from that Japan World Baseball Classic team in 2020. What was
Yeah,
it, 23? They did the World Baseball Classic or 22?
it was
I think it was 23, if I'm
uh
not mistaken.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I just remember that Trout struck out, and that was his one chance to ever prove to me that he's like an
Yeah.
all-timer.
I mean, that was a legendary. That was so good that Topps, the baseball card company, made a card specifically for that one moment
Well,
where
I
it
mean,
was Ohtani against Trout, bases loaded. Like,
hey
it
man,
was
like
I don't think it was bases loaded. I think it was
it
full
was
count.
no, I think there was a guy on second.
Yeah,
So he could have well, a hit would have like tied the game or something. But Derek Jeter would have made that play. Like
yeah, he probably would have.
so,
You're right.
like if you're gonna be a all-time great, Trout, guess what? You make that play, or you just aren't in the conversation.
Who's never won anything?
He's
Like,
never.
don't get
That's
me
the
wrong.
problem. And
He's like a generational super freak when it comes to like talent, the
yeah,
physical attributes, but sometimes the best ability is availability. And he's
yeah,
been the JJ Watt of the MLB, down the stretch.
yeah,
I'm being completely honest. He's missed like 60% of each season the last like 5 years. Minimum, not even the last six.
yeah. How you don't go to another team is beyond me. But yeah, the Dodgers are annoying. The Cubs owner came out this week at Cubs convention and said that we don't have the money that the Dodgers have. We just
Hmm.
try to break even each year. And I'm trying to think like Ricketts. Pretty sure your revenue is like $500 million. Your payroll is like 230. So I'm pretty convinced you guys are, and that doesn't even include he's got like a bunch of real estate property around Wrigley, so that doesn't
Yeah.
include that, right? We're just talking gates and like, $17 beers and all the bullshit. But yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous in terms of the Dodgers picking up people like money doesn't exist and also time doesn't exist with those
Yeah.
guys.
But I
Like
think what's
10
really
years in the
killing
future
it,
we'll pay you. What?
yeah, that's deferred contracts. And they've been going on for a long ass time. But, you know, I would say it hasn't been like generational players getting signed on massive deferred contracts. Like,
No, that's
Bobby
new.
Bonilla is still getting paid, but he will, I don't even think at the time when he got signed, he wasn't one of the greatest like active players in the league. So it's a bad look. I think
Yeah,
mainly for the MLB,
it
but I
is.
mean the Dodgers are pretty much set up to the point where they either have to win the World Series again, or it is the biggest choke job in the history of the MLB.
You know what I was kind of upset with your Yankees about was the fact that like the Yankees didn't play that good at home, and I was thinking like the Dodgers are these sunny boys, so they're gonna come into the Bronx and deal with the real temperatures. And I was just like, God damn, Yankees! Like that's your one chance
Yeah.
is pull those cats out
I
of their
mean, it
sunny
was just
side.
stupid mental errors that had been killing the Yankees the whole entire year. So like base running was critical. Gleyber Torres was like a prime suspect of it, but like I can literally think back. sending Giancarlo Stanton on a ball that hits a left field, Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez gets the ball as Stanton's rounding third. Stanton's like statistically slower than 90% of the
Dude,
NFL offensive linemen.
dude, he is
So like he
brutal.
might be the slowest person I've seen in real life, and I play slow pitch softball like recreationally on the weekends. So it's really tough seeing them get sent. But I mean, Teoscar Hernandez had enough time to like get down, tie his shoes, get up, relace his glove real quick, and then just throw a laser beam to home to
I,
tag him out. It was just a little shit like that that
I,
just added
I,
up and then spiraled out of control.
not to rub dirt on it, but like I couldn't believe he was that slow because I've never seen him run.
Oh,
You
I
know, like
absolutely could. He is slower than Daniel Vogelback, and Daniel Vogelback is like 380 pounds.
dude, he literally looks like his 40 time is like close to 8 seconds.
Yeah, Stanton's good for a home run or nothing. Like that's
Yeah, he's not my kind of ball player.
he's not. And that that's injuries have added up with him, so much. And the only honestly, I think the only reason he's even on the team anymore is, I mean, A, postseason success. He's a guy who's been there. He had one of the most prolific pro season or postseasons of any MLB player,
hmm
like this past fall.
hmm
But we can't trade him because nobody wants to take his contract hit for what you're going to be getting for him. He can't play the field, guaranteed DH. He can't put together a healthy season and play. Uh, shit, 90 games might be pushing it for him at this point. Like he gets
Yeah,
hurt, and that's big G.
my favorite guy. Yeah, he does get hurt. My favorite ball players are like Ben Zobrist for the Cubs. If you remember him, could play like almost every single position. Was clutch,
Oh yeah,
speed, stealing bases. I mean, everything you can do. He could do everything you needed on a baseball field. So you guys got Cody Bellinger from us.
yeah. And
Like
I
he's a
like that. I like that signing. I
yeah,
was
he's
really
good.
hoping he was going to play first base. I was really hoping he was going to play first.
Yeah, we have Mike, this guy named Michael Bush. Well, he probably would have played first for us.
Yeah, I like him.
But yeah, he played. My dad and my mom and me went to a game this year, and he had an unbelievable game that game.
Yeah, I
So
like Michael Bush. I like Pete Crow Armstrong. I mean,
yeah, I
there's a
love Pete
solid
Crow
core
Armstrong.
coming up in Chicago.
Yeah, then we got Kyle Tucker this year. So hey, if you're gonna make a splash, make a big one.
That is a very underrated move to get
So you're
Tucker.
right, and there's leadership there. There's toughness, and our team was pretty. One of my favorite guys on YouTube is like Cubs baseball channel. I actually had him on the show. He was nice enough. Mick was to come on, and we just talked about how they just are millionaires playing baseball, and it was upsetting. Like you don't want to see that. You want guys in there like competing.
Yeah, that want to win that have been there before.
Yeah. Or even if they haven't been there, like they're hungry. Like, and that's what Pico Armstrong is, dude. I'm telling you, man. If you ever see Pico Armstrong playing in real life, it's unbelievable. That guy is hair on fire, running around left, right, and sideways.
Yeah. Well, hair blue, but yeah, I get the point.
Yeah, well, yeah. You never know what color that dude's hair is. I just feel like it changes a lot.
He's got the Joe Burrow frosted tips going on with blue.
Dude, I think he does. I think he's got something like that.
He's just a mixed bag. The dude's he's a basket case.
I think there's something to say that if once a guy starts focusing on their fashion, their play in the NFL goes down. Cam
Yeah,
Newton, Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow's play actually went up, so this proved my point. But his team was losing.
and Cam Newton is that dude's something else though with his. He dresses up like Django Unchained when he's riding through the damn city, like in the blueberry, like on the regular. His podcast is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even
Watching
know
him.
yeah, his fashion. Like I don't even know where to get those clothes. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole new, another world. Like they're not in normal
Yeah,
stores.
he's a time machine and goes back to like the late 1800s to get clothes, and then comes back. They've had that shit just like on the shelf somewhere for years.
Yeah, like
Nobody wants to buy this. Wonder why.
well, he's huge. He's like a giant guy. I'm sure it's like almost custom done. But yeah, every once in a while, I'm not a fashion dude, but every once in a while, I see something that looks cool. Like Kelsey had that like cool ass hat on. I don't know, did you see like it was like yesterday. It was like one of those like baseball hats, but it's like the Eskimo hat.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
did
I,
see that actually.
and I was like, yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. Like I like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So this Tanner Scott, 4 years, 72 million. Just an unreal deal for one of the nastiest relievers that was on the market this year. I'm talking open market, not trade deadline.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you said they got the pitcher from Japan, right?
6 years. So this deal's going to look really low based on what I think his performance is going to be for the season. I think he's going to be really good. I mean, I saw him in the World Baseball Classic. Absolutely devastating, nasty stuff, and he throws absolute heat, like 102, 103. But 6 years, 6.5 million, that's because he's coming on the same type of like international portal that Otani came off of. So that's, partially why Otani was with the Angels for so long.
Yep.
The only difference is Sasaki's actually has some like, brains behind him saying, hey, might want to pick this California team instead of Angels. That's going to be another team that finishes dead fucking last in their division.
Move the team. Yeah, the Cubs were trying to get Sasaki, and then because like we have a decent Japan presence with Seiya and a few other guys over the years,
Yeah.
but
That's kind of why I would have put y'all as like one of the finalists in my opinion. I was shocked when it was like
yeah,
narrowed down to the Padres, Toronto, and the Dodgers. I was like, I knew the Dodgers would be in it solely for like the influence of Shohei Ohtani, unfortunately.
yeah,
But I was like, the Blue Jays?
yeah. There's a culture thing that never really existed that the Japan guys are coming over, and LA is the closest, I believe, to Japan.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's boiling down to.
So yeah, I mean, if the Angels were the team, then they'd probably go to the Angels just from a geographical standpoint. But the Dodgers are. So guess what? Everyone's going there, and they have endless money.
Yeah, I mean, there's only more on the way. They got a third baseman named Munitaka Murakami. Dude, when he comes over, watch out. He's insane.
He's going to the Dodgers or no?
It wouldn't surprise me. I think that he's going to be eligible to come over to the MLB next season because they're on like
Gotcha.
the weird like they have like a structured contract with how many years they owe in Japan and then they can transfer over or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have weird like cross the water type deals, but yeah, he's going to be nuts when he comes over.
Just crazy, dude. Just crazy. All right, man. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we'll see what happens with this defensive coordinator situation for the Colts, and I'm hoping for Wink Martindale, but
Okay.
see either Wink Martindale or Rob Solly. That's pretty much the only two candidates I have interest in.
Wait, is Rob like Sala or is that another guy? You talking?
Solly, yeah, Solly.
Okay, yeah, yeah. The
He got
Jets.
interviewed for the Jags head coaching position, but would you rather be a D coordinator for a team with some promise or a head coach of a head coach down in Jacksonville? I don't know.
I would be shocked if he got hired as a head coach when he just got fired as one. I feel like there's usually a year break.
Yeah, did he justfully get fired though? I don't feel like he should have gotten fired. That
No,
that
no, he
was
shouldn't have
not
gotten fired. It was obviously the wrong decision. But I
yeah.
just feel like what team's gonna like he theory like he it's like I don't really believe in firing the coach in the middle of the season. I'm a big like end of the season fire guy.
Hmm.
Um, just because hey, let it play out a little bit. You never know.
Yeah,
And
it could turn around, could show you something that that you like, and
yeah, and what interim coach has ever like killed it?
yeah, Jeff Saturday came out and won his very first game with 3 days prep time against the Raiders, and everybody was like, "This is the best thing that's happened to the team," and then immediately lost every game following that. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had terrible quarterback play though.
he had terrible quarterback play. I think that was literally just the signing that Irsay could make to where it was like, well, we're not going to lose the fan base if he like loses every game just because he's such like a beloved player.
I mean,
But
I was so here for that. I was
I
like,
was too.
I
I was
was
like,
like, why
fuck
not,
yeah,
dude?
Jeff Saturday.
I was like, why not? But yeah, yeah, that was a funny phone call, I'm sure.
Dude, that would have been an interesting conversation. He's like, well, I got a really good deal where I only talk on the TV like what twice a week, 3 times a
Yeah,
week, something like that.
yeah.
Kind of burning bridges now, but whatever.
Well,
I'll do it. What's the worst thing that happens? I lose every game, and then he wins his first one and loses every game following. So
well, the
much like
culture's so pathetic though. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think it was a good move because now we just saw that Ursay was kind of right with the culture being pathetic because
yeah.
this year they just were showing up late and not even practicing.
No, they need somebody to come in and run that like military style. Like, oh, you want to show up late? You want to play stupid games? Guess what? we're gonna learn about something called suicides today, and
Yeah,
you're gonna
exactly.
do it the length of the field every single 10 yards until I say stop. And you can go ahead and start now, buddy.
They don't do that. Like no pro team does that. I have that. I had that like for the Cubs too. I was like, you guys should run polls
Run poles nonstop.
until
Every
someone,
error, poles.
yeah, until someone can prove to me that they care around here,
Hmm.
other than PCA, literally, other than PCA, like and Justin Seal, we're running polls. But yeah, that's not in the pro world, I guess.
I guess it's not. They're better than me. If I was running the team, I've post game interview, be going on the field, they'd be asking me why we lost, and I just be yelling at the players like, "Hey, you start running some laps around the stadium, and when I finish with this interview, I'm gonna take a couple of glances around, and I'll decide when we can stop. But until then, start running. Stop when I say stop.
Dude, I
This is my
promise you,
football team."
if I was a coach at the collegiate level or the NFL level, I would be doing something like that. Like it's just in me. Like I just grew up with that. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
yeah,
Ohio State, uh, after the first half this year, we would have been like, no, we wouldn't have been in the tunnel. We would have been like doing something else, like because that was embarrassing.
yeah. That's something I've kind of looked into doing, like when I retire from the Navy, is like coaching, high
Yeah,
school football team. I'm not saying like jump into it and like instantly be a head coach or anything. Obviously,
yeah.
take my time of like, kind of learning how it would work and how everything would run. But sometimes I lay in my bed and think about that, like, what would it be if I like ran a football team? Like, would I be like the Frank Reich type where like I'm the player's best friend, or am I going to be like the Bill Belichick? Like, this is a business and this is how I'm going to conduct my business. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out. Like, who did he sit? Was it Logan Ryan? Did he sat the entire Super Bowl because he showed up late for a meeting during
Uh,
uh
no, it was Darius Butler.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Darius Butler.
No, it was Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no. Okay. First off, like from my
in his
understanding,
prime.
no, from my NFL's rigged once again. From my understanding, though, like the truth of that has never came out because they've asked Butler many times. Like and no one knows why.
Mm,
Because I guess he wasn't late to a meeting.
I don't know.
So
I mean, maybe he wasn't just one of those like in-house like best kept secrets.
yeah, I
That's
don't
kind of why I
know.
like listening to Tom Brady talking on like the like when he's doing his like in-game commentary is like he kind of leaks into like what life was like on the Patriots and like as a football fan, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I want my football team to be ran like that because that sounds like the type of thing that I can get behind.
Yeah,
But I don't
they
know.
were a machine.
Yeah, back that team was crazy. Nothing got out to media except
No.
for Deflategate and Spygate and
Yeah,
all the other
well, that was like
gates.
cheating scandals that reporters figured out.
Yeah. It's John Boy Gate, everything that you can name, it
Yeah,
all leaked out.
air and footballs. We're getting pretty deep here,
Yeah,
boys.
Deflate Gate. Like, okay, cool, Deflate Gate. They ran the ball for 300 yards like on our skulls that
On
game.
the goal.
Take away all their passing touchdowns that they had, and they still outscored us the rushing touchdown, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, that was
Delusional Colts fans. That's the only reason they beat us. Well, buddy, you didn't really watch that game very well, did you? I just
I
remember
think
watching that being sad at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
yeah, I think that's why we didn't get Josh McDaniel, sorry.
Uh, was it that season that, man, I
I-
can't even remember
No,
now.
there's like 2 years later, and then we ended up signing Frank Reich, remember? I believe. So
But did
but
Frank Reich ever coach Andrew Luck is the question.
yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
God,
But
that seems like a lifetime ago.
yeah, but they wanted Josh McDaniels, and I feel like what happened was the Patriots did call him back, but I feel like he was like, I can't join these guys after Deflategate.
It's going to be a bad look. They're going to boo me.
Exactly. All right,
Whatever.
dude. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for watching, and yeah, we'll do this again next week.
Cheers.
All right,
See y'all
peace.
later.